You know what? This is just like a breath of fresh air. I'm not kidding. I think it's been day 5, day 6. I don't even know what day it is, to be honest. But it's just everyone's in it for the right reason. Everyone's in it. You have great energy. You have great people. And at the end of the day, everyone's putting aside their agendas and doing what's best for the team. And let me tell you, it is refreshing and everyone's excited to be here.
Remember when Angel Reese and Chindy Carter challenged Caitlin Clark on the court? At times, officials appear to overlook the excessive physicality, allowing defenders to get away with cheap shots. That era now seems to be coming to an end. Caitlin needs someone who can have her back, an enforcer who won't hesitate to stand up when things get rough. When Sophie Cunningham arrived at Indiana Fever training camp, she made a powerful statement that is resonating throughout the WNBA. A veteran shooter and black belt in Taekwondo, Sophie isn't just joining the team. She's stepping in as a fierce protector for one of the league's most targeted stars. In this video, we'll analyze Sophie's interviews and training camp performance to show why she's quickly becoming the Indiana Fever's go-to presence against unnecessary aggression. If you're excited about her impact, make sure to tag Sophie and leave a comment below.
She needs an enforcer. She needs a brute that will wreck people if they wreck her.
Do you remember when Caitlin Clark was the most anticipated player entering the WNBA? The excitement surrounding her debut quickly turned into concern as a troubling pattern began to emerge. As the games progressed, both fans and analysts noticed a disturbing trend. Clark was consistently on the receiving end of excessive physical contact. Data showed she was involved in 17% of all flagrant fouls called during the previous season, an astonishing figure for any player, let alone a rookie. This wasn't just coincidence, it appeared intentional. In a recent game against the Chicago Sky, Clark spoke out about another hard foul, but the truth is, she has been taking hits all season. From tough screens to elbows and unchecked body contact, the pattern became impossible to ignore. What should have been a celebration of talent often turned into a display of aggression. Some moments stood out more than others, such as Chindy Carter's shoulder check that went viral online and Angel Reese's persistent physical play and trash talk, examples that raised questions about intent. These actions didn't seem like standard defensive plays, they felt like statements. What added to the concern was the inconsistent officiating, as referees often failed to call obvious fouls, leaving Clark vulnerable while leading a young and inexperienced Indiana Fever squad. As this conversation continues to unfold, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark's first season has not only showcased her skill, but also sparked critical discussions about sportsmanship and player protection in the WNBA.
Sometimes you need one of those players on your team. You need one of those enforcers. Every good player, by the way. Every player, every good team that is a super duper star. Most of the time have enforcer type player.
Clark remained remarkably composed throughout the season, despite enduring a level of physical play that might have prompted even seasoned veterans to speak out. She never used her media presence to criticize opponents or officials. Instead, she demonstrated a striking level of professionalism for a rookie, keeping her focus, playing through the contact, and refusing to be drawn into controversy. However, the toll was visible. Her body language, on-court performance, and ability to play her natural game showed clear signs of a strain. The Indiana Fever front office took notice. They saw the face of their franchise repeatedly targeted and worn down. Determined to change the narrative, they made a decision. This kind of treatment would not carry over into Clark's sophomore season. In response, they didn't just add talent. They made a strategic choice to build a roster designed to protect and support their rising star.
So there's a hot topic going on right now. Caitlin Clark says she got cheap shotted against the Sky. Throughout the season, she's been getting beat up. Hard screens, elbows, knocked down.
This wasn't just about winning more games. It was about sending a clear message to the entire league. Targeting Caitlin Clark would now come with serious consequences. The Indiana Fever weren't simply assembling a roster, they were building a protective wall around their most valuable asset. Still, one question remained. Who would lead this new, assertive approach on the court? The Fever needed a player with the right blend of experience, toughness, and leadership, someone unafraid to set boundaries and defend the team's culture. They needed their own Charles Oakley. With Clark still early in her career, that leadership role pointed to Sophie Cunningham. Known for her toughness and competitive edge, Sophie's reputation arrived in Indiana ahead of her. But it wasn't until she took the microphone during training camp that her true purpose with the team became clear. Behind her solid 37.8% career three-point shooting lies something even more valuable. A mindset, a message, and a Warriors presence that now defines the tone for this new-look Fever team.
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect, women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
As Sophie Cunningham began her first interview with Fever Media, reporters anticipated the usual small talk about new beginnings and team chemistry. Instead, they were met with 6 words that sent shockwaves through the basketball community. "I'm here to ensure that our guys aren't the target of cheap shots." That's over now. In an era where most athletes rely on carefully crafted public relations statements, Cunningham's blunt and unapologetic declaration stood out. It was a bold message, not just to her teammates, but to the entire league, that the Fever would no longer tolerate unnecessary physical play directed at their rising star.
She needs an enforcer, and if it ain't gonna be me, Michelle Rapport, like, where is Charlize Oakley? Doesn't her team have like a Zavaria McDaniels or a Rakisha Mahorn? She needs like a goon on her team, because when your star player that's bringing so much money, so much attention to the league, and it's a collective, it's a bunch of them, it's been brewing.
Sophie Cunningham's upbringing reflects a foundation of discipline and physical strength, both of which are clearly evident in her style of play. But it's not just her physical presence on the court that makes her uniquely suited for this protective role. Over the course of her WNBA career, Cunningham has earned a reputation as a player who never backs down from confrontation. Her fearless mentality and willingness to stand her ground make her the ideal enforcer for a team that is ready to set clear boundaries and defend its core.
Caitlin Clark was getting hit a lot. She was getting hit a lot early. They needed their Charles Oakley. You've got that in Sophie Cunningham.
In her training camp interviews, Cunningham emphasized the importance of building a culture rooted in mutual support and trust. She stated, "It's important that we get to know and love one another off the court, because it inevitably transfers into on-court synergy and a readiness to stand up for one another." This philosophy reveals a deeper strategy at play. Beyond simply protecting Caitlin Clark, Cunningham is helping to foster an environment where every player feels valued, supported, and safe. A team culture where unity becomes the foundation for resilience.
That's what they were doing in the offseason. They were trying to get winners, people who know how to compete, people who want to win, and put that together with experience, people who have championships. And so when you have that type of combination, and us kind of young bucks, I'm kind of a tweener, and then you have the vets, you know, you're just trying to be a sponge, you're trying to learn, you're trying to be good now, but at the end of the day, you're trying to be the best when it's preseason, right? And so that's why you have those vets, is so you can learn from them. They've been around the game for a really long time, and that's kind of the refreshing part about being on this team, is that everybody wants to learn, and so everyone's dialed in.
When reporters asked Cunningham specifically about the physical abuse Caitlin Clark endured during her first season, she didn't hold back. "Basketball isn't that," she replied firmly. Her words were so direct that there was no room for misinterpretation. "That's not going to happen on my watch." The era of unnecessarily targeting the Fever's franchise player was officially over.
I think that everyone knows that we have something special here. I think a lot of teams have a lot of teams that are special, rosters that are special, but can you put it together? Can you put aside your agendas? Can you come into work every single day when you're tired, when you're sore, and still get something done and stack the days? And that's what we're doing. Today was tough, you know what I mean? Like, we've been going for a long time. They haven't been, this is not an easy training camp, I'll tell you that, but I think we're gonna be better for it. And I think if you ask anyone, everyone kind of just feels that nice energy.
Cunningham's experience playing alongside basketball legends like Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi has provided her with a unique perspective on handling the spotlight. "I know what it's like to have every move scrutinized," she said, reflecting on how she manages to block out external distractions and maintain the team's mental focus during camp. This seasoned expertise is proving invaluable for a young team facing unprecedented attention and scrutiny.
I'm on year 7, and I did not believe people when they're like, "Hey, when you get old, you're gonna know." Boy, I think I'm starting to get old, and I hate saying that. But no, it's just we play fast, right? We're gonna be quick. We're a run and gun. We're a shooting team. But with that, you got to get your cardio up. With that, you have to play fast but play smart. And there's a fine line between that, and we're all trying to get that. There's a lot of people here, a lot of different rotations. A lot of people that you haven't played with before, so you have to know where they want the ball, when they want it, their rhythm, their style of play. And so a lot of people are learning, but it's fun, right? Everyone's excited to be here. Everyone's working hard. We've had 3 really, really good days.
Cunningham's presence on the court is so impactful because she perfectly balances her basketball skills with her protective nature. Clark benefits from the extra space created by her ability to force opponents to respect her deadly three-point shot. This dual threat makes the Fever much more dangerous. Beyond the athletic consequences of targeting Clark, opponents now face repercussions for overlooking Cunningham. But perhaps even more crucial to Clark's success than her sharp shooting is her exceptional basketball IQ, which allows her to anticipate threats before they materialize. While fans may focus on the growing scoring connection between Cunningham and Clark, coaches are noticing something even more significant on the defensive end. On the third day of Indiana Fever training camp, Cunningham is proving to be a defensive mastermind. During intense practice sessions, she's not just talking about protection, she's showing it. Through her constant communication, she's reshaping Indiana's defensive alignment. Cunningham controls the flow of the game like an on-court air traffic controller, calling out screens before they even happen and ensuring Clark isn't caught off guard by unexpected picks. This strategic awareness gives Clark an early warning system, allowing her to move with more freedom on the court without constantly looking over her shoulder.
What's that chemistry building process been like, especially off the court?
Yeah.
Since you guys are all now in market.
You know, I don't even want to sound like this, but it's been easy. It's been easy because you have really, really great people here that want to be a part of something special. And so they're not only phenomenal athletes, but they're phenomenal people. They're out in the community. They do what's right. I don't know, just good stewards. And so when you're around those types of people, it's refreshing. When I say this, I'm truly happy to be here because it hasn't been like this for my career in a really long time.
The practice footage tells a compelling story. During scrimmages, Cunningham reacts to more than just defensive errors. She stops them in their tracks. She anticipates attacking moves, often calling out positions and orchestrating the defense as a unified, cohesive unit. Thanks to her proactive approach, Clark is now able to focus entirely on her offensive game, no longer needing to worry about where the next hit or screen might come from. What makes this collaboration so special is that it goes beyond the court. In between drills, Cunningham and Clark are frequently seen huddling together, engaging in intense discussions about strategy and team dynamics. This rapid development of off-court camaraderie has created a solid foundation of trust that translates seamlessly into game situations. When the pressure is at its highest in the fourth quarter, they communicate effortlessly with just a nod or a glance, an unspoken connection forged through their shared commitment to each other and the team.
Anytime you play with the GOAT of our team, or the GOAT of our game, you're going to learn a lot. You know, you have to be ready for the ball, head on a swivel at all times. And the way that she throws the ball is a lot how DT threw it. I think this is just the younger version of her, so she has a little bit more energy, a little bit more spunk. I miss DT in her prime, but doesn't mean she wasn't great when I played with her. But honestly, at the end of the day, everybody can shoot, right? If you're cutting and you're open, you're going to get the ball. And so you just have to be ready for that. And I'm excited for that. And I think you'll see 1 through 5 is interchangeable.
Cunningham's versatility adds another layer to her protective role. The Fever can deploy a variety of lineup combinations that keep opponents guessing, thanks to her flexibility as both a power forward and point guard. While Clark's positional adaptability allows her to contribute in different ways depending on the situation, it also creates significant challenges for opposing teams. But when it comes down to controlling the pace, it's Cunningham with the ball in her hands. She's pushing it up the court, managing traffic, and setting the tone. Her ability to direct the flow of the game is a key element to the Fever's success, and it's clear from plays like her cross-court pass to Lexi. Cunningham's willingness to communicate with her teammates in the huddle also highlights her growth as a leader. She's not just directing the offense. She's holding everyone accountable and pushing for a faster pace when necessary. It's evident that at times, they are testing Cunningham's skills as a point guard, refining her ability to orchestrate the game. The bond between Cunningham and Clark is only one piece of the bigger picture. Her teammates have adopted a similar protective mindset, creating a culture within the team where looking out for one another has become the norm. There are now multiple enforcers on the Fever, ensuring that no one player is singled out or isolated during tough moments.
Grateful and blessed to have my time out in Phoenix. I met a lot of cool people. I had a lot of great teammates. I learned a lot, had a lot of great times, but just a new era for me, right? A new system, a new type of energy, and so of course I'm excited for it. I'm happy to be close to my family. I'm excited to have my teammates, so I'm started to even get close with now. I think we're going to be a lot of friends, and so I don't know, it's a new vibe.
The ripple effects of this defensive team culture have created a mathematical puzzle that no opposing coach seems able to solve. When you surround the most explosive offensive player in a generation with a defensive wall, what options are left for opponents? The Fever aren't just building for the future, they're aiming for it all. In addition to assembling a protective force around their star, Indiana's front office has orchestrated a masterful team-building effort. In an instant, they've put together a roster capable of competing for a championship. Natasha Howard is more than just a defensive force. She's a 3-time champion and a former Defensive Player of the Year. Her arrival has immediately elevated Indiana's defensive identity, setting a new standard and providing a winning example for her teammates to follow.
We have entered Indiana Fever training camp day 3, and Sophie Cunningham is killing it.
The brilliance of this lineup becomes evident when you see how each piece complements the others. Brianna Turner has established what her teammates are already calling a no-fly zone in the paint, earning back-to-back all-defensive first-team selections. Her quiet, focused energy is the perfect counterbalance to Cunningham's vocal leadership, creating a dynamic defensive presence on both ends of the court. The signing of Dana Bonner may have been the most underappreciated acquisition of all. Her value extends beyond her basketball skills. She brings a steady leadership presence both on and off the court. During practice sessions, it's clear she has the ability to mentor younger players, read defenses with precision, and make seasoned decisions that elevate good teams to great ones. League observers are in a state of shock, and it's not just because of the individual skill on display. It's the rapid cohesion of this group. The offense is already functioning with remarkable efficiency, as noted by reports from the first training session. Clark is threading precise passes to snipers, and the ball moves with a fluidity and energy that typically takes months to develop, but they've achieved it in just weeks. Everyone's motivation is aligned, as Cunningham revealed in a recent interview. We're full of energy, people. This undeniable chemistry has created an intractable dilemma for opposing coaches. Overemphasizing Cunningham, Bonner, or Clark and Howard will cost you. And that's not even mentioning Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull, players who can also step up at any moment. If you try to play this team honestly, Clark can still tear you apart. There's no longer a viable defensive strategy against this roster.
She sees the Indiana Fever putting Sophie back in that 3 position, so she sees her having more of a breakout season than she had at the Mercury, having to play a position that wasn't exactly natural to her. But watching the footage, it's kind of crazy because I see Sophie Cunningham now as being able to play the 1, the 2, the 3, and, with her experience over at Mercury, the 4. Sophie Cunningham at the 1 as the point guard, you're crazy, you say.
The Fever have compressed what should have been a multi-year rebuilding project into a single offseason. This shift is remarkable because it positions them not only to compete for a postseason berth immediately, but also to lay the foundation for a potential dynasty. Howard captured this dual focus perfectly when she said, "I'm excited to return to Indiana and bring my experience and toughness to the team." Her statement underscores both the immediate drive for success and the long-term goal of competing at the highest level. When the 2025 season begins, the Indiana Fever will look not only different, but will also be a completely transformed team compared to the expansion squad of the past. Veterans like Turner, Bonner, Cunningham, and Howard aren't just lending their skills, they're creating a culture of physically demanding play that sets a new standard. A clear message has been sent to the league. This group demands perfection.
Could see Sophie just coming in for a few minutes a game and, giving Caitlin Clark a rest or anybody else a rest, starting at the 1, migrating over to the 2, whatever. She seems to be able to do it, and she isn't looking bad while doing it. She's confident. She's hitting her targets cross court, and there is more footage showing her spotting up, so she can still go over to the 2, to the 3, to the 4 even, spot up at the wing and knock down.
What we're witnessing is a revolution for the Indiana Fever. The partnership between Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham marks a shift in the WNBA's leadership, creating a distraction-free environment that empowers players to perform at their best. Cunningham is more than just a shooter. Her presence fosters a culture where teammates genuinely support one another for the right reasons. The relationships built off the court directly translate to on-court performance. Now that Clark can focus on showcasing her exceptional playmaking abilities, the rest of the league should take notice. This isn't just about protecting a star player, it's about fundamentally shifting the competitive landscape of women's basketball moving forward. If you're excited, please tag Sophie and leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss an update. See you in the next video. Click the video on the screen to continue.